Hey, good morning, everybody. So my name is J.R. Storment. I think I know a lot of you on the call, but wanted to welcome you to a December wrap-up summit that we added in the middle of all the other crazy events going on right now. A lot of us just came back from FinOps X Europe. A lot of us came back from AWS reInvent. A lot of us came back from Microsoft Ignite. I just came back from Gartner in Vegas yesterday. There's been Linux Foundation member summits. There's so many things happening around the world. So a lot of travel. Everybody's tired, but we want to do a quick summary of everything that's happening. Here's the rules of engagement, rules of the road. Please do turn on your camera and please do use the chat for a conversation. Be respectful, be kind, don't share confidential information, all of those good things. And let's talk about the content today. So we are the FinOps Foundation. We are part of the Linux Foundation. We're a nonprofit organization that is focused on helping advance the people who do the work of FinOps. That's the practitioners and their careers, helping them learn through community, helping them get better educated and trained through education, training, and certification, and as well, helping advance their careers and practices through things like the FinOps framework and the focus specification, other best practices that we put out in an open source format. I see the hellos in the chat. Hey, folks, yeah, please say hi in the chat, indicate where you are. Hopefully have a chance to pitch in later with more comments. So this has been a crazy, crazy, crazy year in FinOps land. In addition to the dozens of events that we've all attended around the world in FinOps, the FinOps community itself has grown precipitously this year. The top two metrics on the top there indicating the total FinOps Foundation community and the practitioner vendor SME list. These numbers have actually doubled, 100% increase from the beginning of the year. Some of you may have seen some of these numbers at FinOps X in San Diego 6 months ago. They've gone up nearly 50% since then, and another 20% since FinOps X Barcelona. So the FinOps community globally is growing quickly. We have so many different people coming in from different parts of the world, different types of disciplines, different types of companies, and at different stages of their journey. Every conference we've been to this year has had a different flavor and mix of maturity levels of companies, and we're seeing new disciplines with the expansion of FinOps into SaaS. That we're hearing as many of 70% of you are now doing FinOps on SaaS. We're seeing more of the software asset management and ITAM people come on in and get involved, as well as some of you starting to do FinOps on data centers and private cloud. We normally have a Fortune 50 number on here, which was been 49 of the Fortune 50. We decided to do the whole Fortune 100. 93 of the Fortune 100 in the US are currently participating in FinOps Foundation programs in some format, training, events, summits, focus, open source events, any of those areas. We're going to work on this list for the FTSE list in the UK and the European list and some of the Asian markets as well. But it's a good measure of the type of large companies getting involved with this. We estimate about half of global cloud spend is represented in the FinOps Foundation. Biggest thing, though, is training. Those training numbers continue to soar, coming up in 40,000 trained people in the FinOps Foundation and $1.7 million of scholarships awarded cumulatively in the last 2 years alone for FinOps Foundation training. So we'll hear more about that in a bit from Stacy. Events have been the name of the game this year. For those of you who are just joining, I mentioned there's been so many events in the last few months. I personally have been to 7 conferences in 8 weeks. I was meant to be in Vegas today for the last day of the Gartner conference. I flew back early last night to make sure I could be here for this, but it's been a whirlwind. Some of you I've seen 3 or 4 times this year. Some of you I've seen 6 or 7 times in person. We have a lot more coming, but just take a moment. I hope you're all, healthy and recovered now. I know people have been exhausted from all the travel, but there's an amazing conversations on nearly every continent. I think five of 7 probably at least. The foundation has participated in. And at FinOps X Europe, we had some people from the African community who are starting me up there as well. So I know we're going to have in-person presence in a few places there. No Antarctica, Shawn, unfortunately, but I think we may actually have 6 or 7 in-person representation in the next year. So great to see all of that happening. Thank you to all of you and your smiling faces. There's amazing photos from the last couple of events we'll be sharing out as we go here. So we've been talking a lot at FinOps X, US, the European event, all the regional summits as well about the themes that are affecting FinOps and the evolution of FinOps that's happening. We're working to consolidate those into what we call topic pages. These topic pages, the first version of them are now live on FinOps.org. Love seeing all the hellos in the chat from all around the world. That's so cool. These are the hot topics that the FinOps Foundation is covering right now based on what the community is talking about. Some of these won't be a surprise. FinOps for AI, shocker. I've heard of that two-letter acronym that people keep throwing around. FinOps aware product decisions, focus, FinOps scope, public sector and sustainability are very active subcommunities in our organization. FinOps is really becoming everyone's job in the organization, much like security. So check out these topics pages. We're going to be building content on these. All of these are touching our training in some capacity. There's going to be some dedicated trainings for some of these. All of this is heading toward, FinOps framework improvements and advancements, working groups, communications, conversations. These are the hot things. We think there's more topics coming. Every couple months, there's something new and exciting in FinOps land. Keep us posted on what you're seeing out there and what doesn't fit into these. Best practices, if you want to find. Of course, we have the FinOps framework, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. This was a fairly new property this year. I forget for the team, was it this year or the end of last year when we launched this? But there's been a ton of stuff that's hit this year on FinOps Insights. So this year, thank you, Amber. Amber runs this along with Andrew on our content team. And this is not a blog, I always like to say. It's not, talking about like, hey, here's the latest, announcement. It's meant to be a place you can go. It has some of that, it does, but there's meant to be a place you can go to learn about the latest and greatest in FinOps best practices happening. So on this, you'll see, big announcement just, I think this week, yesterday even, the Focus Sandbox is now live. So you can now actually go here and access sample data from Focus data sets. They're actually the Linux Foundation's own data sets because we use 4 clouds ourselves and actually use that to explore Focus data. There's summaries and detail and videos. This went live this morning of FinOps X Europe breakouts. You can watch most of the sessions now. Thank you, Andrew, for a ton of video editing there, and Amber for poking me last minute this morning to get this out. I know you've been waiting on me on that one. Focus 1.1 general availability happened for the specification at X Europe. Clouds and other data providers are looking at that now to support information on that, as well as interviews and a bunch more data there. I'm not going to go through all of those, but so much has happened in FinOps land this year. This is the place to start if you want to get deeper dives. These are long form articles that you can learn about all of these, including getting executive interviews and various thought leadership pieces on there as well. So what's new in FinOps? A lot of stuff. This is another spot to check out on the website if you haven't already, that highlights updates as they go. We'll post that into the chat also. Wanted to give a little bit of time to talk about one of the most important things in FinOps land, which is education and training, to our fearless VP of Professional Development, Stacey Case, who runs these programs for us. Over to you, Stacey.
Thanks. Hey, everyone. It always feels like we get to the end of the year and it's like, oh, what did we do the whole year? But we've done a lot this year in training, and I'm really proud of the whole team that we've had. And I'm more excited that the reach that we're getting throughout the community and beyond. Two of the things that we did this year were launch a couple of free intro courses. This is something that we've been asked about for a long time. We'd had them out there. We did it for FinOps and we did the introduction to Focus. We're going to continue this model. I'll share with you in just a minute some other fun, exciting stuff we do. We want to make sure that training and education is something that's available to everybody. So by using these free introduction courses to get people interested, along with creating new certifications such as the FinOps Certified Focus Analyst, we're able to have a broader reach out to folks. But I think the one thing, in addition to the great content that we're creating based on what you do within the community, is what we've done with the scholarships. We never want cost to be a barrier for education. If someone has a need and they are not able to afford training on by being reimbursed by their work, or they're just getting started, or they've been displaced, we do have that scholarship program available. And I'm so excited that as we approach the end of the year, we've awarded almost $1 million in training scholarships to people. This has impacted, 1,200 people worldwide in 78 countries. And it's something that I'm really proud of. So please keep sharing that out. If you know someone in need, this is definitely a place that they can go to check that out. But as we recap on what we've accomplished this year, I'm kind of really excited, Jared, to talk about what we plan on doing next year. We just got back from an offsite, if you want to go to the next slide, and we talked about what do we want to build for next year to help support our community, in addition to just updating all of our course content. But one of the things that we're already working on is we're already building out a course, I should say courses, to help support FinOps for AI. This is a topic that a lot of people have thoughts on, they have questions about. We want to start getting that out there. We want to make sure that we're not leaving anyone behind as we move over to this conversation. So much so that we're doing something even a little bit different. If you go out to the learn.finops.org website now, we have a placeholder on it so you can actually sign up for news, so you'll know when it will be released. But we do have a couple of courses planned for this year, and we're really excited to see them come to fruition, and excited for everybody's help that's going to be creating those with us. So yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you, Stacy, and huge shout out to Natalie on your team who does instructional design,
Yes.
and Charlotte on some of these courses, as well as to Jonathan, who has been driving the pro course, and to Victoria, who's been managing all the scholarships. We went from 0 scholarships in 2022, roughly, to 600,000 last year, to $1 million in scholarships in 24. The amount of volume of requests and approvals and communications to get all those people approved in their things was a huge effort. It was a whole program in and of itself. So,
Yes.
tens of thousands of people go through training overall, and 1,200 to go through that process. So really cool. Great work, team.
It's really great.
FinOps framework. Of course, I'm already over on time. Last summit of the year. How could I end it on time? The FinOps framework is continuing to advance based on everything that we see in the community and that the working groups work on and the Technical Advisory Council explores. You'll see on here the new thing that was launched at FinOpsX Europe. The Technical Advisory Council in October went through the process to add scopes, which is the recognition that about 70% of the community now is doing FinOps on SaaS, and smaller percentages with some data we'll be launching in State of FinOps shortly in other areas like data center, private cloud, et cetera. Take a look at this. There are more iterative updates coming that the Technical Advisory Council is reviewing actively. I joined a call of theirs yesterday. They're looking at tweaks to capabilities and domains. They're looking at improvements to personas, ensuring principles still stand. None of that is ready for publication yet, but will all be published in March. So pay attention. If you have feedback on the framework, find your friendly Technical Advisory Council member in the community who can help with that. And one of the coolest things that I think we saw come out that I didn't know was coming until it landed, I think some others like Rob, who works with our government and public sector, did, was that this year in October, the CIO of the Pentagon signed, I'm not sure if this is officially a mandate or just a letter, but essentially saying that the US military organizations needed to use the FinOps framework approach to applying FinOps across them. So, and it references the FinOps Foundation and the FinOps framework in 5 or 6 places in this document. The public sector SIG has been amazing in this group. They've been working to put out white papers. There've been a lot of folks involved with this across the board. Melvin Brown is our governing board member representing there from the Office of Personnel Management. And this was really great to see. This was essentially, real, I think, validation of the work you've all done and the community has done to put together best practices. And now we're seeing a huge influx of all these, organizations, the Navy, the Army, the Coast Guard, Space Force, all these organizations coming now to the events and beginning to implement FinOps in their organizations. So really cool to see that. Wanted to share that. And the biggest one, so the FinOps Foundation is a program of the Linux Foundation. I joined the Linux Foundation in 2020 part-time, and then Stacy joined full-time in 2020. I quickly had to switch over to full-time as well. But the two of us joining in 2020 have grown now into almost 30 full-time staff around the world. Putting on these mini programs takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy. We have to have revenue to fund and pay these people, which is we do through membership and training. And these people work tirelessly to support this community. We basically are a startup within a nonprofit that moves fast and delivers as much as we can. But I wanted to give a shout to all these folks for all of their work. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for everything you've done this year. We have 3 new open roles as well. We have possibly a couple more coming. We're hiring a product manager for the Focus product. We have a government community director and an India community director opening as well. So if you're interested in those, please reach out via the website. And last but not least, on our updates, State of FinOps 2025 data collection is going. Steve, do you want to share anything on this?
Yeah, so the State of FinOps...
Steve was not prepared for that.
I was slightly not prepared for that, but The state of FinOps is one of the easiest ways to contribute to the community. We really want to understand and share kind of like what your priorities are today as practitioners, what they are kind of in the future as well. And around those topics that JR's mentioned, the tooling, the kind of FinOps for AI, cloud sustainability, we really want to kind of understand how the community, how we can support the community better. This feeds into different working groups and the technical advisory committee to kind of help with the best practices and develop the materials to support you going forward in your practice. But please encourage you to take this. We're looking to kind of share the results in the next summit, which is obviously on February 20th, 2025. So we'll be crunching the data in January. But yes, please do take it. It's only a 20-minute survey. Encourage you and your team members to share it as well.
Thank you, Steve, for jumping in. Steve's one of those folks who I think is still recovering from travel, so sorry to put you on the spot. Good to see you back on video. Upcoming events for those in the UK or Europe, we have a community day, April 1st. We're going to continue to do a lot in that region. We hope you'll consider coming to this. This is a full day event in London, easy to get to from the continent as well. Looking at more down the road also, but please consider coming to this or submitting a talk. If you're interested, there'll be talks, there'll be keynotes, there'll be breakouts at this event. And then FinOpsX US San Diego, which is home to there, by the way, if folks didn't know, is also live and public with agenda and ticket sales. They're public sector tickets, as well as there's no early bird this year. We just set the ticket price at the early bird price. So you can get the early price, but it will sell out. Every FinOpsX we've done has sold out. So, and the hotel rooms will sell it even faster. So if you want to stay at the hotel, want to get a ticket, make sure to get those early. All right. I saw Steve was concerned about what I was going to say about that. So I think hopefully I made it through. The Technical Advisory Council, we have more updates. Sorry about that. Is the group that works on the FinOps framework. Wanted to welcome the newest member. We had a number of folks reelected, Tom, Noel, Lucas, and Casey. Wanted to welcome Vic Saluja from MasterCard, who's joined the Technical Advisory Council. We'll get to meet Vic, some of you already have, in other forums when we do the framework rollout. But these are the people that you want to reach out to about FinOps framework updates. If there are things you want to see changing or advancing, they meet usually every month, but they're meeting a little more frequently now with the updates. They're available, obviously, the list on the website, and then they're all on Slack as well. Thank you to our 150 plus corporate members who help support the foundation. They help us essentially ensure that we can deliver all the programs that we have for all of you and make sure that we've got the ability to do that globally. Wanted to give a welcome to our newest premier member who just joined, like, I want to say yesterday. So we'll meet them more in the future. But Adaptive 6, you'll meet the CEO of Eve there. Many of you have the events as well. We'll hear about them soon. So welcome to them joining 150 great organizations who are committed to helping advance the practitioners of FinOps. And with that, wanted to give a bit of time to our friend Bowen Wang from AWS, who works within the Insights team with John Phillips and Rick Oakes and all the folks that you've seen interact with the community to talk about reInvent, which we all just came back from and had a great time at. Bowen, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, JR, Suha, Andrew, Stacy, and everyone from the F2 team for putting together this summit. If you have attended AWS reInvent last week, we enjoyed a conversation with you at the F2 events and before and after our breakout sessions. But if you did not have a chance to catch up with everything, so today is the perfect opportunity for you to stay on top of everything. So a lot of things have been announced last week from different AWS leaders and service teams. So I'm going to summarize the things from cloud financial management side. And our team often think about our product launches during the reInvent season as holiday gifts to you, right? And you're probably familiar with the AWS Cloud Financial Management Framework. If not, I'm going to summarize those product announcements according to the 4 solution pillars. These are we helping you evaluate and plan your AWS spend, track and allocate your cost and usage at the desired level with details you need, helping you optimize performance and drive further savings with right sizing and purchase option recommendations, and also help you govern your spend and making sure you can operate in the cloud at scale. So I'm going to introduce those features along these 4 solution pillars. And for some of those announcements, you're going to also hear a few words from our product managers who worked really hard for those product launches for several months, in some cases, even years. So let's jump right in. First, I'm going to hear a few words from Jeremiah on the first feature in the cost planning space.
Well, excited to say that here at AWS, we have launched the enhanced pricing calculator into public preview. It's an authenticated experience where you can access it in the billing and cost management console or via an API. And the beauty of this new calculator, or the enhanced calculator, is the fact that you incorporate your discounts into the estimates automatically. So this is done without you having to do anything. Well, excited to say that.
Yes. So we're indeed very excited. You can see from Jeremiah's face, this feature has been in the making for quite a while. As Jeremiah mentioned, now you can log into this AWS pricing calculator with your AWS account. So that means you can import your existing usage as a baseline for you to make any modifications. You can also add new usage to get real-time cost estimates with discounts included. As it shows in the third screenshot, you can also choose to simulate entire bill computation by taking into consideration of changes to your workload, as well as commitment purchase changes. Okay, so definitely try out this feature to help improve the accuracy of your cost estimation. So next, the feature in the cost planning space. Let's first hear a few words from Mary.
Today, we released the Savings Plans Purchase Analyzer that help you purchase your next savings plan. Basically, you can enter any commitment amount and you will see impact on your historical data. And that's how you can examine if that's the right savings plan for you to purchase.
And Mary and team has done an amazing job for this feature. So customers have told us that even though you understand by taking AWS Savings Plans recommendations, you will be able to maximize your cost savings. But even though you know this fact, you still want to try out your own hourly commitment amount. So with AWS Savings Plans Purchase Analyzer, you'll be able to input your hourly commitment amount. You'll be able to customize your look back period as your historical usage baseline in the past 7, 30, or 60 days, or you can even choose your own date ranges in the past 60 days. You can choose to exclude certain expiring savings plans in the upcoming 90 days. So you can try out different scenarios to help prepare renewal ahead of the time. So let's switch gears to talk about some of the launches in our cost reporting and allocation space. And first, let's listen to Zach.
So we launched data exports for Focus 1.0 in general availability. This is a launch that built upon our preview release of Focus 1.0 that happened in June of 2024. With this GA release, we solved a lot of the key conformance gaps that existed in our preview release. And so with the GA Focus 1.0 export, customers can start relying on Focus for their key FinOps tasks.
And many of you have been waiting for this release, right? The GA experience of Focus 1.0 with AWS columns, ever since we have announced this at FinOps X 2024 in June. So now you have it. Focus 1.0 with AWS columns is now available as a separate table under AWS data exports in billing and cost management. Now with this data, you will be able to either visualize the data using the pre-built QuickSight dashboard, similar to the rest of the Cloud Intelligence dashboard. You can query the data in Amazon Athena or export the data using AWS data exports to embed with your other cloud service providers' data or even business data for you to conduct any further analysis. Moving on for the second feature in the cost reporting and allocation space is our initiative within the split cost allocation data. So split cost allocation data is for AWS to help you calculate cost and usage for shared resources. So this initiative has now supports for two services, Amazon Elastic Container Service and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service. So what this means is you will follow two simple step opt-in process. You opt in from the cost management preferences and then opting for a specific CUR report to opt in receive the split cost allocation data. So now when you configure your split cost allocation data for Kubernetes service, you can choose to receive the calculation based on your resource request data, or you can also capture the real CPU and the memory utilization data through Amazon Managed Service for Prometheus, or our newly launched support for Amazon CloudWatch Container Insights. So with those additional usage information, you can better allocate the cost and usage related to your clusters and be able to have a better insights to understand your potential cost savings opportunities. Now, the third feature in the cost reporting and allocation space, let's take a moment first to hear from Liam.
We announced the general availability of the cost analysis capability in Amazon Q Developer. So Q Developer is a generative AI-powered assistant for the entire software development lifecycle that helps you plan architectures, write code, and operate and optimize your resources. And so with this new capability, you can ask questions about your AWS costs and get natural language answers in response.
Yeah, this is a wonderful collaboration between the AWS CFM teams and our generative AI Amazon Q developer team. So we are very excited about this launch. As we know, not everyone in your organization is familiar with AWS Cost Explorer or Cost and Usage Report, right, for any cost analysis. So now, as long as you have access to AWS Console, anywhere you can open up this chatbot to start asking questions and receive responses in natural language, right? You can ask questions about how much have I spent last month versus the previous months. You can ask questions about how much have you spent for a specific cost category or on a specific cost allocation tag value. You can even ask questions for your future cost, right? Tell me how much will I spend in 2025 Q1. And for each response, there's always a deep link to visualize the data in Cost Explorer. So you'll be able to understand what kind of grouping by and filtering options we have utilized for this specific analysis. So let's talk about cost optimization. Rick Oakes is not with us today, so I'm going to highlight two features from his team. And speaking of Rick, he has some words for us.
Yeah, we launched brand new idle recommendations in Compute Optimizer last week. We're really excited about this because one of the things we saw in the 2024 State of the FinOps data report is that the #1 activity by practitioners is still like waste cleanup and idle work. So we wanted to address this by taking all of the different idle use cases and pulling them all into one console experience in Compute Optimizer and Cost Optimization Hub to help all of the practitioners achieve that idle cleanup capability without going to multiple tools or different locations or places to aggregate like how much savings is there, how much effort is there, all in one AWS console UI.
Yep. So exactly as Rick mentioned, we work backwards from customers' requests. So a lot of you have let us know, especially from the State of the FinOps survey, clean up idle resources is one of the top asks, right? So to help you identify all idle resources in your organization, we have now made idle resource detection and cleanup recommendation available in Compute Optimizer and AWS Cost Optimization Hub. That means you can review all the right sizings and idle resource recommendations together and prioritize them based on the implementation effort, estimated cost savings. We definitely highly advise to leverage this feature and create the habit to have regular cleanup for your organization. Now, the next feature in the cost optimization space is the right-sizing recommendations for database instances that are running on Amazon Aurora MySQL compatible and PostgreSQL compatible engines. So this is available in AWS Compute Optimizer. So with this, we help you identify idle instances, recommend opportunities for you to migrate to Graviton processors, upgrade to the latest generation hardware, and to improve your workload performance for you. So definitely check this out. The next scene, which is our fourth solution pillar, is govern and operations, right? And we have made two announcements in this space. So many of you have found value using AWS cost anomaly detection, right? Where we alert you when there is anomalous spend with root cause analysis, so you can save time to address those anomalous spend. So very recently, Frederick and team has made enhancements to this feature. Now we will provide you for up to 10 root cause analysis for each anomaly detected. And you will find analysis across combinations of region, service, account, and usage type and their dollar impact for each anomalous spend. So you can quickly identify who is responsible for this anomalous spend and be able to address that. And the very last feature, I'm sure a lot of the FinOps teams, especially the account payable teams, who would like to delegate cost management to your business entities will be excited for this launch. We just launched a feature called AWS Invoice Configuration. What that helps you to achieve is business entities will be able to receive separate AWS invoices and while being part of the same AWS organization. What you do is you will create invoice unit for member accounts reporting to the same business entity, in this use case department, right? And receive separate invoices and have them pay for the cost they have incurred. And you can also optionally associate purchase orders with invoice units, one or multiple invoicing units for you to track the funding for those business entities separately. With this is definitely, all of these are just the tip of the iceberg. You will find more announcements from re:Invent with the link shared here. And thank you all. Happy holidays, and we'll see you at FinOps X in re:Invent 2025.
Thanks a lot, Bowen. It's cool to see all the videos. Those were actually taken at the FinOps Foundation event that we did there. We did a keynote watch party and had great community stuff throughout the day. So it was great to see so many of you there in person. That was my 11th re:Invent every year, I think. Maybe that'll be my last, but I keep going back. Thank you as well to our governing board. This is the group that helps us lock down our annual planning, our annual budgets, and make sure we're investing into the right areas. These groups are my boss. I report to them, and they recently signed off on our 2025 overview and budget to enable us to fund the foundation and to invest into all the areas that we've been talking about. So reach out to these folks as well if you have questions or feedback for the foundation. FinOps X Europe. So this was a fantastic event that we got into. Gosh, it feels like months ago now, but it was just last month in Barcelona. Some amazing photos and videos and breakouts happening there. We had about 800 people there at the bursting at the seams at the event in Barcelona in a lovely location. And wanted to share some experiences from a couple of the attendees who attended there. At the event, again, all the photos and things will be shared here shortly. But we had a fantastic mix of, practitioners and member vendors and consultants and non-member vendors and people in the cloud people and a whole mix of folks sharing ideas and best practices. And wanted to give a few minutes, if we can, to our speakers, Shahen and Jacqui, to share a bit about their experiences.
I was lucky enough to be ambassador-sponsored delegate a little over a month ago. Really enjoyed it. It was my first FinOps X experience in person. I was so jealous in previous ones, so I was so grateful to be able to attend Barcelona in person. I think my experience and my takeaways from that was, the meeting in person. I mean, everybody goes through post-COVID, you do a lot of remote. Even today's community calls is all remote. You see faces and you see a name, but it's totally different when you have that one-on-one experience. And I think for Africa, being an African on the continent, it was a brilliant opportunity to just walk up to fellow Sappers and Africans and say, how's it? I'm from South Africa, Cape Town. Where are you from? What company are you from? Let's talk, come join our community, come and share your learnings, come ask questions and come problem solve with us. There's a lot of communities in South Africa and Africa that just need to work to collective and get that African voice more heard in the foundation. And a lot of the work groups are lacking an African presence. So it was really awesome for me to be a shout out ambassador to walk up to people. I used my book. Thank you, JR. I got my V2 book signed. And I used that as an opportunity to walk around and try to get most of the speakers that I attended breakouts, and just try to use that as an engagement opportunity. Like, how's it? I'm Jacqui. I loved your talk. Can we talk? Sign my book. I think that was awesome. So anybody attending another Future X event, go take your FinOps book. It's a great starting talking topic. The other big thing is as well, a lot of the breakout sessions, at the beginning, I went and I selected a whole lot on the FinOps app, the mobile app. And I was so ready to finally get there and, which breakout rooms I was going to. Lastminute.com. I chopped and changed a few based on, wait, actually, this is something interesting. I need to go to that one rather. So the ones I did attend were really, really takeaways, lots and lots of learnings. Some of the ones I want to bring back in for myself is a lot of the forecasting conversations. The second part was Natalie Daly's keynote, the reminder to just look back at where you've come from. And I think somebody even mentioned it today, just look back where we came from before you start planning forward. Just take a moment to acknowledge the progress you have made in FinOps. And then even some of the breakaway sessions, meeting up with the people afterwards. So a shout out to Carlos. I really enjoyed his, making engineers take action with a fun attitude in your comms, come up with that strategy, the way he's done it. My team's actually going to be meeting up with Carlos in January, just so you can come and share, what he preached to us in Barcelona. Come and share with my team, please. So those are opportunities that really go forward into the next one.
Amazing. Thank you, Jacqui. That's a cool tip on the book. It may not come across, but I am actually an introvert. I just have some extroverted skills, but I found that at the conference, like, the best thing to do is just walk up to people and or any of these, right, especially at ours, and either ask them what, challenge they're facing, or ask about a book or one of these things. And I think it's a great technique, because it's the beauty of the conference is everybody knows what FinOps is, right? And I've just been to so many this year where I had to figure out where those people were, but you can literally talk to anyone. So, hey, Shahen, sorry, I messed up the order. I went with Jacqui first, and I was supposed to go with you first. So I'm going to go back to your slides and pass to you.
So good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world. I'm Shahen. It's a privilege to share my experiences with you today. So I have been one of those lucky people that have attended both San Diego and Barcelona conferences this year. FinOps X conference in sunny San Diego was my first visit to the city, my inaugural FinOps X conference. So that's always going to be special. I was blown away by the scale of the event, the variety of sessions, the amount of vendors that were there, the diversity of what they were offering, and the incredible networking opportunities, of course. For me, though, most importantly, I left San Diego feeling validated in our FinOps practices in our organization, reassured that we are on the right track at my company, ICAP. And then when I attended again in Barcelona, it was a whole new experience, this time as a speaker. So while San Diego impressed me with its vast scale and a sense of discovery, it was a validation. Barcelona stood out to me for its focus on collaboration, deeper engagement, more validation, more learning. I really was inspired at San Diego to speak at Barcelona. So stepping onto the stage to share my company's FinOps journey and how I have used the practices for more than just cost savings was a really proud moment for me. So in Barcelona, I spoke about leveraging FinOps for strategic decision making. So, showcasing its potential as a future-ready skill set. I'm hoping that I was able to inspire some people to be really proud of being a FinOps practitioner and to feel powerful with the data that we have at our fingertips as FinOps practitioners. Again, it was really inspiring to feel a sense of belonging in this vibrant community and to see that our being recognized, our contributions being recognized, and something everyone at the conference could relate to. Both events, FinOps X in San Diego and Barcelona, were extraordinary. Each one unique as well in its own way. I really do want to thank the FinOps Foundation for hosting at such inspiring gatherings. I think being a part of this community is an absolute honor. The insights gained and the learnings gained on how about cloud providers, about vendors, and how practitioners are innovating and how solving problems is really invaluable. There was so many takeaways from these, but a couple that I'd like to share is Natalie Daly spoke about shift left. I am one of the lucky people, lucky enough to now have Natalie as a mentor. Thanks again to the FinOps Foundation for putting us together. Natalie's absolute goals for me. And when she spoke about shift left, it just made sense to me. Embedding FinOps early, it really, really promotes accountability and cost efficiency, and it aligns with what we're trying to do with more cloud migrations. And then beyond the sessions, the chance to connect with this incredible community was truly special. I was really impressed by the different practitioners from different parts of the world, including Africa, like Jacqui said. Moving forward, the insights, connections from these conferences will always stay with me. I'm excited for what's next, including opportunities in my hometown, London, and then again in San Diego. So thank you for fostering this community and for inviting us all to be part of such transformative events. So thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Shahen. Really appreciate your story and seeing you in person again there. So I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on all of these updates because they're all in the video recordings. People like Natalie and all the other speakers there from Renault and the European Parliament and the clouds and everyone else, I think, said it best. But I want to leave folks, with the note that the FinOps journey is evolving and people are pushing further and further into these areas like shift left and into FinOps for AI and figure out new ways to do it and bringing in sustainability. But as I said at the conference there, we are constantly trying to see where things are going because every 6 to 12 months, the FinOps practice pushes forward because it's such a nascent and emerging space. At the same time, there's so many people just getting into it as well. So it's a constant balancing act of how to make sure that the new folks get the basic info and the more advanced folks get the more advanced. So please let us know as we go into 2025, what types of additional content you want to see, where you think we should be advancing further. And please consider, conferences is a good place to come and have the initial conversations, but get involved with working groups, get involved with other areas. And Shahen, apologies again. I was out of order, so I didn't have your slides up here where you're talking, but here were the great slides that were meant to be there. And thank you, Jacqui and Shahen, for sharing your experiences. So the next conference coming up, as they mentioned, is FinOps X in San Diego. That is June 2nd to 5th. Tickets are open now. Registration is open. There'll be a call for papers opening shortly. Very similar format to what was discussed by Jacqui and Shahen in terms of keynotes and breakouts and chalk talks. One thing I want to call out is that there is a pre-day, we're calling it a pre-con rather, a pre-conference day on the Monday. And that is in direct response to feedback we heard from all of you, particularly traveling internationally to the conference, that when you arrive the day before, there's not something to do. And so we've added a day on the Monday. Keynotes are Tuesday, Wednesday. It shifted a little earlier in the week this year back to the original schedule from 2023. But the Monday has chalk talks, networking lunch, those types of things. But we need you to add it on as an add-on ticket so we know how many people to account for, because a lot of people are just arriving that day. So consider joining on the pre-con Monday. It's going to be small. It's going to limit it to about 500 people. It'll be a lot like the original FinOps X in 2022. But the main conference will start on Tuesday with all the keynotes and chalk talks and breakout sessions and all of those areas. And of course, if you're interested in becoming a speaker, we do prioritize practitioners and active practitioner roles for these talks. Please submit a talk, ideally around one of the themes that we've talked about, those topics that are listed here on the page. It doesn't have to be exactly about this, but something we can relate in. Doesn't have to be a very long write-up either in terms of what you put in them. Give us a title, give us a paragraph, some points, but extra bonus points if you can share, either a video of yourself speaking or a quick recording of what you want to cover or something, so we can get a sense of the content as well. So with that, a lot of you have heard about the Focus project. Focus is an open source specification for normalizing cloud billing. FinOps Open Cost and Usage Specification is the acronym there, that is currently supported by the 4 large cloud providers in their billing data in various formats. I want to give 2 minutes to our friend from the FinOps Foundation staff, Shawn Alpay, to talk about what happened in Barcelona and what's coming up with Focus as well.
Hi, everyone. So I'm the chair of the Focus Working Group, and just wanted to tell you about how things went at FinOps XE in our lab, which was a business center that we took over, and landed some laptops and brought some Post-it notes together. The short of it is that we shared and listened in Barcelona for 2 days straight. I am also an introvert. Shout out to Dina in the chat who said introverts unite, and Nadeem who asked, do I have to come to the meetup? We talked for 2 whole days, but I came away very energized. The goal was to collect feedback on work items we were considering for the next release of Focus 1.2, and then to collect use cases for our use case library, things that may be missing that we haven't considered yet for future releases. I'm glad to say that the vast majority of the feedback we collected was on our list of things we're already considering, but there were some great ideas too. You can see there in the middle on the top a picture of some of the maintainers for the Focus project who were in the lab. There's about 10 of us, and the steering committee members also showed up too. We demoed a beta of that query sandbox and sample data, as we mentioned earlier, and I'll talk about that more in a second. But we showed off some queries against our use case library and some real world anonymized data that people could touch and feel on the laptops. I don't know about you, but the way my brain works is I need to be able to actually see real cells with my eyeballs in order to make it real. So yeah, if you go to focus.finops.org/sandbox, you can go touch and feel that data now yourself. For a subset of our use cases, you can choose a use case and you can choose a start and end time. And then you can run that SQL query and you can see the output of it. There's also a link there that you can go to our sample data. We've put it into a GitHub repository and you can download some or all of that anonymized data. So it connects over to our use cases. Thank you very much to all of the maintainers who've been a part of the project. You see them up all here on the screen. If you'd like to become a maintainer, please become a Focus contributor. And if you put forward a material contribution to the specification, you too can join the hallowed halls of maintainers. But please consider joining the Focus Working Group. The more folks we have available and participating, the better and more robust product we'll build. Thank you.
Thank you, Shawn. Yeah, working on the Focus project is one of the most important things you can work on. I think it's going to ultimately be the defining project of the FinOps Foundation. So very big thank you to the maintainers. We'd love to add more maintainers, more contributors, and thank you to everybody for all the work on this so far. One of the best ways to get airtime in the foundation as well is to be a maintainer. We put those folks in the keynotes at X Europe this last time, so a great way to raise your personal profile as well. I thanked the staff earlier. Thank you again to these folks for everything they do. And with that, want to pass over to hear about what happened in Chicago at Microsoft Ignite, another conference that a lot of you are at, and pass to Vikram, who is a part of the cost management team there. Vikram, over to you.
Thank you, JR. Thanks for the FinOps Foundation for organizing the event too, and a lot of the effort that goes up in both all the conferences as well as these events to showcase some of the features that we're bringing up for you to enable your FinOps practices. So I'll cover some of the announcements that we made in Ignite, as well as some of the enhancements that we have done since FinOps X, as well as how we are helping you to empower engineers, business, and finance to do their jobs. We basically have support for cost management in the Azure portal, which has been enhanced with Copilot support. And with Copilot, you can easily ask natural questions related to the costs, comparisons of costs, try to detect insights, as well as get optimizations. And we have further enhanced simulation capabilities, especially things around what-if modeling. You can understand cost impacts before actually making the change itself. So I'll show some of these things in action and some of the key additions that we've done in these functionalities. If you go into the, can I go to the next slide? Yeah. The Copilot in Azure portal is easily accessible when you log in, and you just need to start the Copilot, and the Copilot gives some key functionality, not just for cost management, but you can design your workloads. You can find create queries related to what is running, get cost insights and optimization insights, as well as troubleshoot once the workloads are running. So it's holistically helping you to do your tasks right from deployment, estimation, simulation. These are the capabilities that are inbuilt into the Copilot. I'll mainly focus on the cost-related changes and cost-related additions that we have made. One of the features that is available and has been available is you can find costs related to your services easily by asking natural language questions. Those questions are based on the access that the current logged in user has. So Copilot is not doing anything differently from what you would be able to do with the APIs, but making the life easier for the user. Also, one thing to note is Copilot, even though by default it is available for all users in the organization, the global administrator can turn off or on the access to Copilot within your organization. So governance is controlled by the global administrator for Copilot access within your organization. So going forward, if I were to start Copilot and ask questions related to some simple questions related to, say, what my cost is. One of the additions that we have made is we have integrated Copilot and made it easier to transition from Copilot to the full power of cost management that is already there in the Azure portal. So with the view and cost analysis, that's the button that I'm showing here. You get the quick insights through Copilot. And once you click on the view and cost analysis, it opens the full cost analysis experience in the next slide. Yeah. And the full cost analysis experience here not only gives you the cost related sort of top level analysis, but you can add additional analysis through the advanced filtering capabilities based on say meter names, service names, tags, or grouping by several options that are available within the cost analysis experience. Furthermore, if the view that you've been created, which has been started through Copilot, is useful, you can save the view or even schedule the view to be sent at a daily schedule or a monthly schedule. That way, even though you started with Copilot and asked the questions related to the cost, this is just an entry point into making the analysis easier and getting these. You don't even need to come to the portal regularly, but these reports will be delivered to you at a cadence of your choice. Furthermore, once you have analysis coming from the Copilot, you can go into trying to optimize your costs. And the optimization options that you see here are the ones that are already available through Azure Advisor. And both of the optimization options that come in here are both rate optimization options as well as workload optimization options. The Copilot, again, is an entry point into the optimization options. And if you click on one of these options, you go into further details where you get, for rate optimization option, you get further details about what reservations are available, what savings plans are available, and try make do actions around it. Also, similarly for workload optimization options, if you click on the workload optimization option, the workload optimization option opens up with details related to right sizing options or idle resource options that you can action on to further optimize your workloads. From here, now that we have looked at the optimization options, you may want to simulate your costs for changes that are happening. And the simulation options that are available are, we're starting with simulation for Azure OpenAI. AI costs are on top of the mind of a lot of people, especially with the rapid changes in the AI industry itself, with models changing, cost changing because of models, non-predictability of number of tokens that are inputted and outputted. All of these can be simulated, and based on the simulation, you can get the impact of the cost of a model change or a token change before the actual change is done. So this is just a flavor of the simulation capabilities and what if capabilities that will help you estimate your costs, especially for workloads which you're making rapid changes. So going forward, now you saw that Copilot in Azure Portal is one that allows you to get easy answers and integrate with your with cost management. But FinOps often requires additional data such as business context, observability data, and governance data. You can all bring that in from cost management to Fabric integration. And with Fabric, you can bring cost data and other data sets so that you can get business context and insights along with your cost data. So going forward to what capabilities Fabric offers, Fabric is a single space where you can get analytics. You can look at governance around this data. You can have different personas look at the data, be it engineers or business personas who are not logging into Azure Portal, but they want reports to be created for custom scenarios, as well as the AI support that I'll show in the, Fabric, allows you to create or get analysis of large data sets and different data sets very easily. So let me go and show, like I've exported some of the data to Fabric, and I'm going to show you some capabilities of Fabric Copilot that makes analysis of data very easy and makes your FinOps tasks or accelerate your FinOps tasks. So let's start with the video. Yeah. So I've already exported the data into Fabric, and I'm asking, I can even start with some simple questions related to what kind of data do I have? What kind of reports can I build? You can always build your reports manually, but with the Copilot support that is there in Fabric, what interesting reports are available at your fingertips. So asking these questions, as you see, I get answers related to either cost analysis, subscription detail, billing details, and I can easily create the report. And from here, now I can say that, hey, by the way, I might want to break down further costs by, say, resource location or a particular service. And once I do that, I can even ask Copilot here to create a report. And it again creates a report based on my question and looking at your data that is already there in the Fabric Lakehouse. Once you get these interesting reports, I can even combine reports to create a dashboard that I can share with my organization. So the task could be starting with basically reports, which you have created, and then sharing it as a dashboard to personas. In addition, what you can do is you can also drive accountability, as you see here, through alerts, where you can configure thresholds based on the data that you have and have it delivered either as an email notification or a Teams notification. So what we saw here was a quick Fabric integration of data that is being sent. What I'll show next is how this is configured. So to configure this, we have now added capability of exporting the data to Fabric. We have added capability to export the data to Microsoft Fabric. This is a feature that is in private preview, and you can sign up for this feature. The link to sign up is there at the end of the presentation. So we already had capability to export cost data to Azure storage. And even that we have further enhanced since what we showed in FinOps. We've added capabilities for exporting the data in Parquet format and adding additional compression options so that your integration of the data with big data services is much more simplified. In addition, the experience itself has been made more seamless with templatized UXs for most common scenarios, such as if you want to export, say, focus data, it's very easy to pick the template related to focus data and export the data. All of these capabilities, along with the new capability that we are introducing, which is exporting the data to Microsoft Fabric, allows you to get insights very easily. So to export the data to Microsoft Fabric, all you need to do is pick one template, you can configure the data, which data sets that you want. You set up the recurrence, and then go and look at the destination of the data that you send. By default, it is Azure Storage, but if you've signed up for the private preview, you'll get an option to have Microsoft Fabric. So if you go to the next slide, one of the options that comes from the storage type is Microsoft Fabric. And once the Microsoft Fabric option is selected, the lake houses that you have access to in Fabric are available to you. And you can pick the lake house so that the data gets sent to Fabric. With Fabric, you don't even need to worry about things like storage formats and data formats. It'll be sent to the Fabric, the most optimal format for the Fabric Lakehouse, so that querying and Copilot support is available to you right from Fabric. So all of this is available to you already. For Fabric, please sign up for the private preview. The Copilot support that is in Azure portal should be already available, and some of the capabilities related to deeper integration with cost management, cost analysis, as well as simulation capabilities are already available. So just a call to action. These are the couple of links that will be useful. Please go to the cost management update sites where we regularly post updates, and expecting to see a lot more innovation and improvements that we'll be publishing and putting together both between now and some things that we present at FinOps. Thank you.
Thanks, Vikram. Great to see you, and thanks for that overview. There was a question about recordings and slides and things. We do post recording of this to YouTube next week, most likely. Whoops, just went off the page. Sorry about that. Let me reset this. So definitely watch for that. Those emails will come out shortly to get access to all of that. Second. Okay. Can you see my screen again? Yes, great. Perfect. I think I clicked one of those links for the Fabric preview by accident. So one of the best ways to engage in conversations in the community is via these community calls. We're going to have a little bit of time at the end of this to talk about some of the content here today, but consider checking out these calls on events.finops.org. I have added as well, just late breaking, I'm doing a office hours for FinOps Foundation. If you have any feedback for the FinOps Foundation, if you have any questions, if you want to debate anything about where FinOps is going or what the foundation's working on, have an office hours that I'm going to be there for tomorrow, as well as next Friday. Please come and share your thoughts as we finalize our 2025 planning, and that's available there on the website. Also, mark your calendar. So this was the last virtual summit of the year. The next one we're going to do is in February. We take January off of summits to go build the new state of FinOps, to go build the new framework, to go build all the things that are launching. So we'll be busy bees in January getting ready for this. But February 20th is the next virtual summit where we'll be sharing with you first look at the insights of the latest state of FinOps data. We have a preview of this data already. There have been some changes in some pretty key areas that we're excited to share. And we've also added some new questions around some hot topics like FinOps for AI, around data, around evolution of FinOps, around FinOps in other locations as well, that we'll be able to share with you. So February 20th, 8 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. GMT, watch for that invite. Reminder, these are the two events that are published right now. There's more in-person events coming, but these are the two big ones. April 1st in London. There is not a sign up for this one yet. Apologies. So many things on. That one's not there yet, but watch for that. It'll be coming out shortly. But mark your calendar. That's in central London. And then June 2nd to 5th in San Diego as well. For the international folks, recommend arriving on the 1st, which is a Sunday, if you want to go to the pre-con, which is on June 2nd, the Monday. And that brings us to the end of the content and to the conversation portion.
Hey everyone, producer Andrew here. I hope you enjoy this video as much as I enjoy sharing all of these amazing FinOps stories, best practices, and expertise. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and leave comments and questions for our speakers. Check out more FinOps content on our YouTube channel. We appreciate the support.